Okay, we're gonna load a quilt today. And I wanted to point out that this is a directional fabric. The stars are nice and shiny and they have long tails down. So I'm gonna put the pretty side down, and I've marked the top already, so the top is going toward the back of the frame. And let me just say that there are many good ways to load a quilt, and we're doing one of them today, okay? So here's the top of the quilt I've got marked, and then I'm gonna open it up, and it's a really big piece. So I'm pretending like I'm making the bed. I'm at the foot of the bed, and I go, wee. Oh my gosh, it's so big. Okay. So I'm just gonna get it kind of opened up as straight as I can. You don't have to be perfect about this part. This is overkill for the quilt that we're doing, but this is what the person provided, so I'm gonna do it just this way. All right, so now I wanna point out these levers down here. Excuse me. If I have this lever up, I have the option of going one direction or the other, and that could screw me up later. So what I'm gonna do is flip down the lever, and I wanted to rotate it. I'll go ahead and rotate it around again to get my hem part. This is my hem, and it has a little red snapper in it. Get the hem part setting up on top of the pole there, the rail. So now I've done this. Whee, pretty side is down. I'll say it again. And then I'm going to just bring this around and rest it here. I'm all about freeing my hands to do things, and so there we are. We're gonna just rest it there. Make sure we don't have any flip overs or anything. Okay. And we're gonna try to get it as even as possible, understanding that this may not have been cut even, but looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna get my red snappers out. You may be using pins where you would just line your fabric up with the edge of the hem, and you would just pin it along that edge, giving about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch distance from the edge in. And then you would just go nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail with the pins. But I'm using red snappers, so I'm gonna just put my hand on the heel of my hand on the pole and just arc it. And it's like I'm squishing something with my hand. So here I go up, and then I squish with my hand. I am not leaning on the pole because I don't want to compromise that pole. So I arc it up to open it, and then it just goes on. One more at the end, and it's totally okay if they go off the edge, just so long as they don't bump into the frame. And here I come down the side, arcing it. I'm so used to using the one hand. And again, I'm gonna line it up. This one, I'm gonna give a little gap here because I want it to go off the edge, and that's fine, that'll hold. And we're done with that part. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just start clicking it around, and I'm gonna start rolling it. Now, I wanna make sure to try and keep this edge as it adds on to cover up this edge, or to be even with this edge. So I'm gonna go from the center, and I'm gonna smooth to make sure that there's no wrinkles in it each time I go around. So I might do a couple of rounds around, and then check my stuff there and go smooth, 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 and smooth, smooth, and call it good. That looks good enough. And I want you to come in close here. See how I can influence it to go further and further to line up. Yeah? And it might help if I just got that coming at it straighter, huh? Okay. Big piece of cloth. Smooth, smooth, smooth. It really wants has to come my way.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more. I'm sensing that it's, let me see, that it's coming closer. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the back side to make my burrito. So I'm going to let this drop for a minute so you can see. So again, I'm going to point out this lever here. If I don't have this lever on, it gives me two different options. I want only one option, and that's the correct direction. So I'm going around, and I'm going to, actually, no, I'm not. I want to wrap this up like a burrito. So I have to release that to bring this around. So the dealio is, I want this to connect with that down here. So to free my hands up, I'm going to rest it on the top of the bar like we did down there. Rest it on the take-up bar. And this is where my magnets come in handy. So now is the time that you're going to hear it click. Click that lever down, and then I'm rolling that edge to the top of the pole there. And I'm just going to slap some magnets on to keep it there while I fuss with the fabric. Now you may have to have a friend help you. Actually, can I have a friend help me pull that fabric? The camera person did not know that they were going to do this today. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this up here, because eventually when they connect, it will bring the leader down and it will be under this bar. Super magic. It's called the burrito method. I did not make it up. And there are several different versions to it. But Adam's So Fun, S-E-W Fun, on YouTube introduced the first one to me, and then I kind of modified it. Probably because I'm a lefty and I tend to modify everything. Okay, so here we are. This is uneven on this side, but it doesn't bother me. What I want to do right now is get it straight. So I go, oh, that's too far to the right, oh, that's too far to the left. You can see the diagonal lines. And then if I set it straight in the middle, then there's no lines. And that looks good to me. So I'm gonna just start smoothing out, opening up, and placing magnets on it. So there's one. These are called So Tight magnets. They're pretty awesome. And so I'm feeling good about that. Let's see, I need another magnet over here now. There. I'm not going to worry about that little bit of draping. I can take care of that later. So here I go. I think you can see me from the other side. I'm just going to do the same thing I did over there. I find my red snapper that's in the hem, and I arc, and see how I'm squeezing the pole. I'm not pressing on the pole. Don't press on the pole. So arc up to open it up and squeeze it on. And I'm monitoring the fabric down here a little bit so it doesn't bubble that direction. And here, I'm not going to get to the edge, and I really want to get to the edge, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go past that, and then I have these cute little filler spacer things that I'm going to grab one. So when you get red snappers, you get little guys like this, but we've cut a couple of the red snappers to have longer ones, and this is a perfect fit. It's like a puzzle. Okay, so there's that. So, and they usually say to go from the center out when you're attaching things. So when I'm pinning, when I'm using my pins, I go from the center out. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then that's a little too big for my comfort, so I have my cheater here. Oh, I'm going to piece a little bit more. So again, I like going past it so that the thread or the fabric doesn't slip out, and then I'm just gonna pop this little spacer in there. Now I'm ready to take off my magnets. So what I have just done is I have attached the back of the quilt to both the take-up leader and the belly bar leader. This is the take-up leader, and that's the belly bar leader down there. So when I start going in the right direction here, oh wait, I'm gonna drop that. Usually drops really easy for me. Boop, there it is. So now it's underneath. Excuse me. Underneath here. This gives it a flat surface for the machine to go over. So that's the take-up bar, the leveler bar, the belly bar, and then if you wanted to add the quilt top to this bar, you would pin the bottom edge of the quilt top to this bar. So you'll notice that this was a little bit of a wonky cut. So what I will do is I will just go along there, making sure I don't catch the leader in my scissors, and just trim that off so it doesn't create bulk as I'm rolling the quilt up. Let's pause there.